नमो तस्सा भगवतो अरहतो सम्मा संबुद्धस्सा नमो तस्सा भगवतो अरहतो सम्मा संबुद्धस्सा नमो तस्सा भगवतो अरहतो सम्मा संबुद्धस्सा इतिपिसो भगवारहं सम्मा संबुद्धो विद्याचरण संपन्नो सुगतो लोकविदु अनुत्तरो पुरिसदम्म सारथि सत्ता देव मनुष्याणां बुद्धो भगवाति नमो तस्स सम्मा संबुद्धस्सा स्वाखातो भगवता धम्मो संदिटिको अकालिको एहिपस्सिको वपनायको पच्छत्तं वेदितव्यो विन्नुहीति नमो तस्स नियानिकस्य धम्मस्सा सुपटिपन्नो भगवतो सावक संगो उजुपटिपन्नो भगवतो सावक संगो न्यायपटिपन्नो भगवतो सावक संगो सामीचिपटिपन्नो भगवतो सावक संगो यदिदं चत्तारि पुरिसयुगानि अट्टपुरिस पुग्गल एषा भगवतो सावक संगो आहुनय्यो पाहुनय्यो दक्किनय्यो अंजलिकरणीयो अनुत्तरं पुण्यकेतं लोकस्साति नमो तस्स अट्ट अरिय पुग्गला महासंगसा So today's Dhamma talk is about only three kinds of trainings that one should look into to get absolute emancipation, to get absolute liberation. That's what is Buddha's simple teaching. All his teachings can be compiled into these three simple training steps. No much complications, no say lot of mysterious trainings, lot of say complicated trainings. Buddha's trainings are very simple and very few, like just these three trainings. That's all. So this sutta, this Subha Sutta. Subha is the name of one person. He's a young man, but he's very intelligent and very like from a very good family, like and also he was very say that inquisitive. He wanted to know the best things. So though he was a businessman, a millionaire businessman, he used to spend a lot of time in knowing the spiritual realities. He was so eager to learn a lot of spiritual things from different spiritual masters. And because of his inquisitiveness, his say his uh, wealthy background, and also his appearance, he was good looking. That is the very name. That is the very meaning of that name, Subha. Subha means like good looking and young and quite intelligent and quite good also, like he's helping so many people. All these things, it has puffed up his ego to some extent. Was a bit proud also. And he encountered Buddha some 2 3 times, and Buddha gave some wonderful discourses to this Subha. One of the famous discourse about this law of cause and effect. By doing what, you will get some particular result. Mm, About this cause and effect. He gave one very beautiful discourse to this Subha. It's called Chulakamma Vibhanga Sutta, and a few more suttas also were given to this Subha, this young man. He was the son of one wealthy merchant by name Todaya, and he was also like he was very stingy, but though he was very intelligent, but Buddha could convert him to some extent. By the time he died, this Todaya, and this Subha developed more interest in Buddha's teaching. But this discourse was not given by Buddha. Actually, this discourse was given by Buddha's famous disciple. His name is Venerable Ananda. He was the chief attendant of Buddha. Once he was in Savatthi, or the present day Sravasti, this Ananda, and this Subha, he came to know that Venerable Ananda is in Sravasti because of his close companionship with Buddha for so many years. Not only after the enlightenment of Buddha, even before his enlightenment, he was the cousin. He was very close and he was a very good friend and cousin of Buddha. They were grown together in the palace, this Ananda and Buddha, when he was Siddhartha, when he was the Prince Siddhartha, when Buddha was Prince Siddhartha. So his cousin, this first cousin, this Ananda, they were good friends. And after enlightenment, also he joined Buddha. He joined the Sangha, Buddha's Sangha community, and he became the chief attendant of Buddha. Though he was of the same age of Buddha, because of his close companionship and his great devotion to Buddha, his great metta towards Buddha, he wanted to be with Buddha and he wanted to serve Buddha all the time. So that's why he became the chief attendant of Buddha. So after the enlightenment, for 25 years, he served Buddha every day, each and every day, taking care of all the requirements like his physical requirements, Buddha's physical requirements, and also the people who used to visit Buddha and arranging them the proper timings and all, properly coordinating the people with Buddha, and also coordinating the monks with Buddha. So thousands, lakhs of monks. So he was responsible for properly coordinating the monks, the lay people, the lay disciples, or the unknown people. Uh, so, and even with the divine beings, he had to coordinate, and that was his job, and he could do it very skillfully, very efficiently. This Ananda. That's why his name is very much seen in all the scriptures, and he was very wise also. He was having tremendous memory, and because of him, hmm, the first Buddhist council could be held, and all the discourses given by Buddha, because he used to be with Buddha all the time, he could grasp all those discourses, and he could again say give rendition. He can again recall all those discourses in that Buddhist council. Because of that reason only, now we can have this uh, all the discourses. They were actually learned by so many people. After this, Ananda could recall those discourses, and after some time, after a few hundred years, it was like, say, it was scripted. It was like written on the stone slabs, and also it was scripted. So all the credit should go to this Venerable Ananda because he could recall all those suttas and he could deliver those suttas in the first Buddhist council. Otherwise, all the teachings of Buddha would have lost. And because of this Ananda's memory, his great rendition, his ability to recall and say, proclaim those, deliver those suttas in the first Buddhist council. So even today, the Dhamma is there. The teachings of Buddha are there. So, because of his vast experience, vast knowledge, vast memory, vast wisdom, this Subha wanted to meet this Venerable Ananda also. When this Venerable Ananda was in Sravasti, then he sent one messenger to go and request on behalf of this Subha for uh, the morning meal. So this Ananda that day he was already having the meal, so he wanted to have the meal the next day. He told the messenger that he already had it. Next day he could join when this Subha for the morning meal. So this messenger went back and he told Subha about what this Ananda say, told about the invitation. So he was ready, this Subha, for the next day morning meal. So next day morning, this Venerable Ananda, so early morning, he visited Subha, and Subha started asking questions because he was very inquisitive. He was so much interested in asking so many questions, and he started asking questions to Venerable Ananda. And his first question is, so Buddha, so he used to tell so many things, so many discourses. Now, can you compile all those things into some simple teaching? And can you tell me what are the prime teachings of Buddha? Can you just summarize the teachings of Buddha so that we people, the lay people, could understand it easily and could practice it easily? It's not only understanding, even to practice these teachings, it should be easy. If it is very difficult doing so many things, so many finances, so many strict rules, if you want to follow, then it will be difficult for the lay people to practice. Can you summarize everything in some simple teachings so that the lay people can practice? In that way, he requested Venerable Ananda, this young man Subha. Then Venerable Ananda, of course, he is very wise, though he knew so much about so many teachings, so many discourses of Buddha. So, looking at the circumstance, looking at the need of the hour, and looking at the intentions of this young man, Subha, so he could compile everything into three training steps. This Venerable Ananda could compile all the teachings into three training steps. And he started explaining. It is very simple. The first training step that Buddha asks everyone, not only for the lay people, for the monks also. Of course, for the monks, the very first step, that is the Shila, it may be a little bit complicated. It may have so many uh, moral precepts. But for the lay people, according to the lay environment, lay ecosystem, for the lay people, for the householders, they have so many responsibilities, the cares and concerns of the family life. They will be binding them. So in that situation, they should practice at least five moral precepts. And that will put them in the track. That will help them to control their mind, not get carried away by the deep rooted desires and defilements of the mind. So they could successfully control their mind if they follow the basic five precepts. That is what is the Shila for the lay people. So in that way, this Venerable Ananda, he could give the first training step as the Shila, the morality. Morality is the first training step. And after listening to this, the beauty of the morality explained by Ananda, and this morality is for one's own mind control, one's own mind centered approach of handling uh, the defilements of other people and one's own defilements of the mind, so that with that matured mind, with that developed mind, one can involve in some developed actions, matured actions. So thereby he can enter into this path of Nibbana, path of enlightenment. So the first and foremost step is morality. Of course, during those days, many other masters also they used to teach about this morality, moral precepts, and many teachers they do, used to ignore the morality and moral precepts. Even today, you can see that. So in many religions, so many people they give the commandments, the moral precepts, the principles, the basic principles of life. These are the different things that one should practice. One should be like say, should not be selfish. He should be generous. One should not steal. One should not lie. All these things in many religions also they teach. And at the same time, there are so many teachers even today who say there is no need of morality. Just have this humanity, have this manliness or humanity of be human. So then you don't kill or you will take care of the people around you. Actually, that is one wrong version, that is one wrong view. Morality is nothing but humanity only. Because humanity, many people, they define humanity in their own way and in their own way. So like in, say, now the people, the warring groups in some wars that are going on in the world. If you ask any group, they say they are fighting for humanity. Fighting and killing itself is non-human. That concept is not there. That's why morality and humanity, they should not be separated. And because of that reason, non-killing is very much appreciated, and that is the first moral precept given by Buddha. But in many other moral commandments, moral principles given by other religious leaders, killing is not very much highlighted. Killing is like, it's not given much importance. Non-killing is not given much importance. But here, Buddha emphasizes about the importance of non-killing as a precept, non-harming as a precept. If non-harming is not appreciated, not practiced, then all other evils will start. All other problems. That's why even in the livelihood also, Buddha emphasizes on non-killing. The professions also should be, like say, should be selected, looking at how pure they are with regard to this precept of not to kill, not to harm, not to destroy life. Panatipata means not to destroy life. So not to destroy life is very, very important because it is the basic human, say, principle that will fix so many other defilements of the mind. So in right action, right livelihood, in right view, right thinking, in all these things, non-killing is very much embedded, very much ingrained. So though many people talk about morality, they don't highlight the importance of non-killing. That is one limitation of the morality with regard to other religions or other teachers. And of course, one more problem is many religious leaders, though they are very, very renowned, they don't appreciate morality. I have seen even today, I went with some of those teachers who are not bothered about this morality or these moral principles. They say universal love, universal concern, that you should imbibe, that will take care of all these other aspects of handling people, having harmony with the people around you. But no, many a times the mind will not comprehend the beauty of these moral principles, these five moral principles: not to kill, not to steal, not to indulge in sexual misconduct, not to lie, not to take intoxicants. These five things, if a person can thoroughly comprehend, thoroughly absorb and assimilate these things and practice these things, then he can liberate his mind to a great extent. Many people they take these things partially, it will not be very effective. Many people they ignore these moral principles, thinking that we are good, we are not bothered about the world, and we are minding our own life. So in that approach, why these moral principles? Why should we stick on to these moral principles? What is wrong in taking intoxicants? In that way, some proud or some arrogant arguments we can see even among the so-called good people or the religious people. But if you thoroughly comprehend these five moral precepts and to see the beauty of these five moral precepts on one's own mind and also having harmony with the people around you, that is also very, very important. That's what is the main reason for other religions to practice these moral principles or moral commandments, to develop that harmony with the people, to have that universal love, or to have that mutual support, mutual cooperation, peace in the society. They wanted these moral principles, but that is secondary in Buddha's teaching. Of course, definitely one will achieve the peace, the harmony, the cooperation among the people in the society, that is very much possible. But more than that, one's own mental defilements, one's own enemies, the deep rooted enemies in the mind, they can be fixed by practicing these five moral precepts. Sooner or later, they will fix all the mental defilements. So that this Subha could grasp, this, this young man Subha, after listening about the importance of morality, explained by Ananda, he could grasp the importance of morality. And he was very happy with this very first step itself, the very first training step. This very first step has inspired him to a great extent. And he said, wow, this is wonderful. This, this very first step, morality, as explained by Buddha, is so complete. By practicing this, one will definitely can be liberated. In that way, he started appreciating morality. And then Ananda says, no, this itself is not sufficient. Just listen to the next step. After practicing this morality in a very comprehensive way with correct understanding, then developing a lot of control on the mind, lot of sense control, lot of mind control, then stilling the mind, settling the mind, focusing the mind on one object, it becomes easy. That concentration one should practice, and it is called samadhi. So this samadhi in other Hindu versions, many like even in yoga also, in Patanjali Yoga Sutras also, samadhi is the ultimate. Like that is the liberation. In that way, they talk about the importance of samadhi, the definition of samadhi. But here, the Buddha's version of samadhi is different. Samadhi is like concentration, balancing the buddhi. It's possible. Sama plus di means like balancing the buddhi. So that means like stilling the mind on one thing. Then automatically the buddhi will be balanced. By concentration, buddhi will be balanced. It is just a means. It is not the end. So the concentration is the means according to Buddha's version. But in the yogic version, that is the end. So the stages of samadhi, they look more or less similar between the yogic version and the Buddha's version. So that is the, but of course Buddha could explain, give the complete range of samadhi. But in the yogic version, there is no complete version of complete span of samadhi. But here Buddha gives the different levels of samadhi in the form of jhanas, the absorptions. The mind gets focused on one object by developing a lot of control by practicing morality. Then settling the mind, taking the mind on one object becomes easy. And when the mind started settling on one object, then it will start transcending the physical senses and it will start establishing in the mind sense. Then you start getting what is called the absorption, the jhanas. And Buddha could explain the 8 jhanas. And the 4 jhanas, first, second, third, fourth, are very much required. And that's those 4 jhanas are called samadhi in the Buddha's teachings, in Buddhist training. The first 4 jhanas, the rupa jhanas, they're called rupa jhanas. The remaining 4 jhanas, from 5th to 8th, they are called arupa jhanas. They are not of much importance in Buddha's training, though one could achieve it. But the first 4 jhanas are called the rupa jhanas. So one should train the mind after thoroughly practicing the Shila, after developing the sense control and mind control, uh, then one should work on concentration and one should get these 4 jhanas. Then it is samadhi. One will get superior happiness in these samadhis, which are far, far superior than the physical happiness. Now, that is the second step. In that way, this Venerable Ananda explains to this Subha. Subha became very happy. Oh, this is great enough. This will definitely emancipate the mind. This is what is required for the world. So in that way, he started explaining. But Venerable Ananda again says, this itself is not sufficient. There is one more training step. That is what is the panya, prajna or wisdom, or the insight knowledge. So after developing this deep concentration and deep happiness, deep transcendence from the physicality to the mentality to the mind sense, then you start getting the insights. When you correctly start exploring or imploring about the nature of this body and mind, how it is ephemeral, how it is changing, all the universal characteristics of this body and mind, that is anicca, dukkha, and anatta. It is ever changing, moment to moment. So many these bodily particles, they arise and perish. They're called kalapas, or the body is like a lot of subatomic particles, the ultimate constituents of the body. The science they call it a cell or atoms or whatever you call molecules. So Buddha calls them as the kalapas. They arise and perish, millions and millions, moment to moment. That nature you should see through your insight knowledge. How impermanent is the body, that you will realize, and how stressful it is again and again to carry this body, how burdensome it is. That's why it is called dukkha. And anatta, there's nothing like soul on which you can rely upon. Like many religions, they talk about that soul, atma concept. One can rely on this atma, which is deep inside our mind and body. Beyond this body and mind, there is something called atma. They can rely on that and also connect that atma with the supreme soul. So that kind of wrong views Buddha rejects, and he appreciates. He explains only this three-step training where you can realize this essencelessness, atma-lessness, anatma. You have to rely upon your own intelligence, your own Shila Samadhi Panya only for your liberation. You can't rely on any other thing like these imaginary ideas like Atma and Paramatma and all these things. You can't rely upon. You have to rely upon these three training steps only to realize the ultimate truths, and also after realizing the ultimate truths to get the complete emancipation. Only these three simple training steps are sufficient enough, and they're the only way, they are the only means to achieve liberation, to achieve happiness, to achieve freedom. There is no other shortcut, there is no other means at all. That is the declaration, that is the proclamation of Buddha about the mind purification or mind liberation or the spiritual process. That is the spiritual process. So in that way, Buddha has authoritatively told about these three simple training steps that one should follow, and one should derive happiness here and now and also hereafter. And one should travel from lower happiness to higher happiness. One should go from the grossness of the body and mind to the subtleness of the body and mind, and to transcend the body and mind to experience the absolute emancipation, absolute liberation. So these are the three training steps told by Buddha in that way. This Venerable Ananda explains the basic teachings of Buddha, which can be compiled in these three training steps. So simple they are. No need to complicate spirituality, or no need to complicate religion with so many wrong views about soul theories. So many people they complicate the very idea of soul itself. But that's after all is one wrong view, and they bring in so many dimensions to this wrong view again. They multiply the wrong views, and they simply complicate the practices also. So many kinds of sacrifices, fire sacrifice, animal sacrifice, so many kinds of sacrifices in the name of spirituality, in the name of religion. In the name of religion, a lot of immoral things like killing and stealing and cheating. Again, you can see in the wars, even today, how they, in the name of religion, what nonsense people do. They kill, they steal, they cheat, they hide every nonsense they do in the name of religion, in the name of spirituality. All these unnecessary complications, they arise because of wrong views. And one can correctly understand and come out of wrong views by following these three simple steps. This morality, concentration, and insight knowledge. So if these three training steps correctly understood and comprehended, that is good enough. It will take care of your happiness here and now, mm, your freedom here and now and hereafter. So that is what is this Venerable Ananda's teaching to this Subha. And of course, in several occasions, Buddha also talks about these three training steps, so many occasions. And even after Buddha, so many disciples like Ananda and Sariputta and Mangalana, they also highlight these three training steps. That time also, just like today, people were obsessed with so many ceremonies, so many rituals, so many wrong practices, mm, wrong penances. Mm. In the name of penance, lot of torturing of the body, either to torture oneself or to torture others in the name of religion. Kill animals, kill people. All this nonsense is not required. It's all because of the wrong views, the wrong interpretation about the divinity, about spirituality, about the religion. People wrongly interpret with half knowledge, with half awareness, with half observation, uh, with imperfect observation in the meditation, with imperfect analysis about what is right, what is wrong. All these imperfections are the cause for suffering, cause for wrong views, cause for wrong practices. And that's what is the mess one can see in the world today and also during the time of Buddha. After all, the human world is imperfect, that is true. But there is a ray of hope in this imperfect world. What is that? These three simple trainings. If one can understand and assimilate and comprehend and try to practice according to one's own ability, according to one's own conviction, if a person starts practicing these things, that is good enough to take care of his spiritual progress, his say uh, his enlightenment, his progress towards enlightenment. So these three simple trainings are sufficient enough. In that way, Venerable Ananda explains about these three simple trainings. And of course, understanding of right view automatically will happen if a person starts knowing about these three simple trainings. What after all is right view? So whatever you give, you get back, cause and effect. So if you don't kill, you will not be killed. If you don't steal, you will not. People will not steal from you. If you don't cheat, the others will not cheat you. That's how this comprehension of morality will happen. If you know this law of cause and effect, if you correctly comprehend this law of cause and effect, then automatically you practice morality because you don't want to be killed, so you decide not to kill. Your people, your family members, or your near kith and kin, your near and dear ones, they should not be harmed, so that you will not be harmed. So because of that reason, you don't harm others. Hmm. And your mind should be protected, it should be controlled. That's why you should not take intoxicants. So that kind of very simple, common sense kind of thing, actually. Right view. Right view is not at all a complicated thing. It's a common sense, that's all. So you will start progressing. If you start practicing morality, you will start progressing in right view also. They support each other. When you start growing in right view, then practicing morality becomes easy. When you're correctly practicing morality, then comprehending right view becomes easy. They support each other. That's what I used to tell always. The punya kriyas are nothing but more or less they support or they are like your morality only. Morality itself is on punya kriya. And if you start practicing all the five moral principles, then you start practicing other punya kriyas also, other meritorious actions also, like generosity, like respecting the respectables, like service. So all these things you start automatically practicing. So in that way, this morality and right view, they go together. Similarly, concentration and right view again go together. Again, to establish your mind on one object, to develop more and more focusedness, more and more concentration, stillness of the mind, where you require more and more comprehension of right view. Coming out of these extreme views, soul theory and all, self torture or self indulgence, all these things you stop, then you avoid all those things, because to settle the mind on one object, all these extreme views, it should go away from the mind. Extreme practices at the mind level also, they should go away. So then automatically you develop more and more in the right view. Than to see the ultimate nature of the body and mind and how they are impermanent, stressful, and they don't have the soul, but absolute realization of these ultimate truths through this insight knowledges, which is called panya, the third training step. That is also that will also give complete clarity about this right view. Everything is mind centered. If you start purifying the mind, start settling the mind, then automatically all the realities of this existence one can realize. No need to have any kind of wrong view. That clarity will start getting, and you'll start establishing more and more in this right view. So in that way, morality and right view, concentration and right view, this insight knowledge and right view, they go together. So because of that reason, these three training steps, they help in comprehending the right view also. So that's what is the actually uh, realization. And after learning this importance of three trainings, the first one is of course morality. Starting from morality, this Subha could comprehend the teachings of all the teachings of Buddha based on right view, and he could come out of a lot of wrong views. And he requested Venerable Ananda to consider him as the disciple for the lifelong, who could practice right view, who could practice these three trainings, and who could confidently ignore all other trainings, all other practices, all other ceremonies, all other rituals, which are of no use. Simply they corrupt the mind, simply make the mind more dull, more foolish, more ignorant. If I practice so many other things, so this he was very much convinced with this three simple training steps. So that is about this Subha Sutta. I think that much is enough for today. So if you have some quick questions, you can ask. Otherwise, we conclude with one small chant. Always better to remember these three training steps also, because as I told you, they are quite simple. And establishing in the morality itself, as Subha, he was like he was showing his great appreciation by thoroughly comprehending the morality, the very first training step itself. He thought that this itself can liberate a person. That is the power of this morality. Don't get carried away by the notions of the modern day. So many masters, very renowned masters. I became one with this universe, universal oneness. I have my heart and mind is completely filled with universal love. I don't care about cheating people, lying, or sexual misconduct, or taking intoxicants. Also, you can also don't care. You also don't care about all these moral principles. In that way, many masters they are promoting that. No, that is absolute wrong view. If you don't have faith in the morality, then you are in the wrong path. then you completely get trapped by the wrong views. Morality is universality. Morality is humanity. If you don't thoroughly comprehend morality, you can't comprehend universality or universal love or what all these so-called yogis or yogic masters or even so many religious masters that are talking about universal love and all. It will lack its purity. It will lack its essence if morality is not practiced. Morality is the expression of your universal. Morality is the expression of your humanity. If you more and more firm on in the practice of morality, then you are more and more human, more and more universal, universal lover, or the person who is interested in the universal concern, universal care, universal welfare. That one should be very clear. That is point number one. Then the next thing is like morality for the sake of simply pleasing others, for the sake of say having some harmony and cooperation with others. Don't have that kind of very inferior objectives in practicing morality. Have some lofty ideal of mind purification, mind liberation in practicing morality. Not even like this universal love by practicing morality, achieving universal love, achieving humaneness, automatically they happen. But keep the prime intention of practicing morality is to purify my own mind, to fix my own defilements. That is my prime intention. With that intention, if you practice morality, then it is the superior morality. That's what is emphasized in the Buddhist approach. All the Buddhist principles are to be practiced, to be understood, that they fix my own mental defilements. They purify my mind. It is not selfishness. It's absolute wisdom. Because my purified mind, my happy mind only will help the world. If I'm keeping my impure mind, not fixing my mental defilements, whatever big things I talk, I take care of the whole universe. I am the representative of universal love, universal oneness. Like many yogis, many masters in the present world, they simply boast about themselves. It will carry no meaning. It will carry no weightage if the intention is not fixing one's own mental defilements. The intention is not to purify the mind. To simply, if you say that I am already perfect, I have got enlightenment, I am liberated, I became one with the universe. If that kind of wrong views, if the people get carried away, and based on that, if they don't care about moral practices, then their mental defilements will multiply and they become more danger to the society than more beneficial to the society. That is the version here. Moral practice here is to fix my own mental defilements, to purify my own mind. With that intention, if a person start practicing morality, then he is in the right path, then he is in the right view. And that is the most authoritative way of purifying the mind. And there is no risk of falling into uh, mental defilements, multiplying the mental defilements, and inviting more problems, inviting more suffering. Like people, those who claim that they are like God men, they have realized the universal oneness, they became one with the God. They don't care about, for example, sexual misconduct also. They don't care about cheating and lying and cheating the government, cheating the people, because I am God. I can do any damn thing. Whatever I do must be a good thing only because I became one with the God, became one with this universal oneness. If that kind of ego comes, then you invite lot of problems along with that ego, lot of greed, lot of this domineering, lot of grudge, lot of revenge. Everything will corrupt the mind. That's what we can see that many people have gone through across all the religions, across all the different schools of different religions. We can see that. So because of that reason, So all this approach is mind-centered approach. That is the second aspect of right view that always one should remember. The first aspect is whatever I do, I get back. That consciousness one should have. Then you are understanding right view. And the second aspect is everything I do is to understand my own mind and mental defilements and to fix my mental defilements. That's why I am doing this. I'm practicing this morality. That's why I'm practicing this meditation and concentration. That's why I'm developing my wisdom and insights. If this understanding is there, again, you are correctly establishing yourself in the right view. Hmm. So in that way, these three-step trainings, they should be always associated with the right view. And of course, if you correctly understand and practice these three steps, then definitely you grow in right view. Or if you are growing in right view, then practicing these things will definitely become more and more authoritative, more and more correct. So in that way, they complement each other. These three moral trainings and the progress in right view, they complement each other. So that clarity if you have, that is good enough. Hmm? That's what this Subha could comprehend, this wise young man Subha could comprehend. Because of that reason, even one training step itself, he found it is more than enough to get superior happiness. But of course, Buddha says all the three they should one should practice. One should not conclude with one step or two steps. That definitely give tremendous happiness, tremendous liberation of the mind. But don't stop there. Complete all the three steps. That is what is uh, the recommendation of all the Buddhas. Okay, I think with this we will conclude. We'll have a small chanting and then. नमो तस्सा भगवतो अरहतो सम्मा सम्बुद्धस्सा भवतु सर्वमङ्गलं रक्षन्तु सर्वदेवता सर्वबुद्धानुभावेन सर्वधर्मानुभावेन सर्वसङ्घानुभावेन सदा स्वस्ति भवन्तु ते सुखी भवे यन्निदुःखो अहं निच्चा अहं विया पिता च मे सुखी होन्तु मज्जता चतवेदिनो इमां गम्मन्ते धम्मे सत्ता होन्तु सुखी सदा अतो परञ्चारज्येषु चक्रवालेषु जन्तनो साधु 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 सुखी होन्तु मंगल हो. May all of you be happy, healthy and peaceful. May all beings also be happy. Sukhੀ होन्तु.